Let's talk about One Piece. This is a shocker. So, One Piece, the live action series, the biggest budget of anything ever made by Netflix, just $1 billion. All of the material that came out, for the most part, was ridiculed and ripped apart. Though I know we had talked about it. Some fans seemed pretty optimistic about it. Some diehards were really into the idea, thought it looked good. It looked corny, looked cheesy. The trailer was kind of shocking. Based on the Japanese manga from 1997, still ongoing, still very popular.
Top selling comic of all time.
Yeah, just crazy. It's a huge deal to adapt it. I know the translation to American audience isn't perfect, but obviously we live in an age where manga, anime, all that is just more and more at least breaching the mainstream, and this is obviously a good example. They have done these types of adaptations in the past. The Cowboy Bebop adaptation was fucking atrocious. Was so bad. So bad. The best thing that the Cowboy Bebop adaptation did was make you want to go back and watch the original. We'll just be because I had binged it before watching it. I was like, I'm just going to watch that again. This is it's a disservice. This is pretty solid though. The series follows. I'll just read the premise. You don't know what it is. It won't make a ton of sense to people if you don't know exactly anything about it. Series follows the adventures of the Straw Hat Pirates as they explore the dangerous ocean lands and beyond in search of the One Piece, a fabled treasure that will make their captain, played by Ianaki Godoy. So I believe you say his name. Plays Monkey D. Luffy, but the Marines
Luffy,
are on. Whatever.
Monkey D. Luffy. You're about to get fucking.
But the Marines are on their ship's tail, and they are not the only crew searching for the One Piece. It is a very fast-paced show. Really, a weird mix of tones. Because they want it to be, they want you to take it very seriously, but also have it be wacky, have it be, I guess, the stuff that we lose when we adapt these types of things. When you adapt Cowboy Bebop and it's a shit show. When you adapt Avatar: The Last Airbender and it is the one of the worst things to ever hit the screen. They found a way to kind of balance it where it's definitely still on kind of a thin line where if it goes one way or the other, it could be a fucking disaster. And I could still see some people truly disliking it, but it has a very fast paced kind of balls to the wall feel to it while still, I guess, working in a not over the top way. It's weird. It's a very hard show to describe in terms of why it succeeds, but it succeeds. I have not finished the whole thing, but I've enjoyed it quite a bit. And I have no pre-existing basis to liking this whatsoever.
I think the big thing for this compared to Cowboy Bebop is this anime is shot with almost the same tone as Cowboy Bebop, which is a big fucking issue for Cowboy Bebop, but not an issue for this. It's very goofy. It embraces a lot of the craziness of the, at least I never read the manga, but for the anime. And I think it's weird because it absolutely shouldn't work in every way that Cowboy Bebop should have worked, because everything's relatively grounded and you just need to do sci-fi effects. You don't know demons, ghouls, goblins, stretchy powers, any of that shit. That's why all those reasons are why this shouldn't have worked in live action. And it just kind of does. It really, they find there's this very specific zone that's really goofy anime like that hit. And it's very difficult to kind of find in live action while also retaining a good look to it. And I think that they found it perfectly. All the cast is pretty good. There's certain people where I wish Zoro was an older dude or at least someone more badass looking. And some other guys dude, the guy, I only realized this recently. The guy who plays Luffy's grandpa was the dude from 300 and Achilles, the captain guy, the default Greek captain character, man. But there's a couple characters I would change or actors I would switch around, but they catch the vibe of the show, of the anime pretty fucking well, and they zoom through what is 8,000 episodes of arc in 8 episodes, which is very nice. They get most of the feel of everything you need without getting into too much of the filler. The effects looked pretty fucking good throughout.
Yep.
There's some points where you'll notice it.
Honestly, That surprised me more than anything. And I think there's a lot of real stuff too, which is a nice mix of it. There's obviously a lot of
Yeah.
computer animated and generated things, but there's a lot of real set pieces and things that make it feel like I haven't found the best way to describe it, but it feels like I am looking at something that is animated, that is drawn, that is written down on like a page. It's weird. It just works.
Yeah, it's a very difficult balance that I don't think has ever been hit by a live action anime adaptation before, especially not Bebop. But like even the ones that like they make in Japan aren't particularly great. Like they did a Full Metal Alchemist one that was god awful. But I think it's impossible.
Quotes from that,
dude, so bad. But like it's such a hard sort of zone to hit and make it like, because like they obviously don't just want fans of the anime to watch it; they want other people to watch it too. So like it's approachable enough, I think, for those fans, and then for a very casual fan like me of One Piece, very easy to be like, oh, like I remember this from this part, and I also think that this is faithful to this, and also I'm still not like overwhelmed by anything or think anything looks shitty. But then I'm curious too, because Gooch this is like his number one anime for a more diehard fan, what they think of something like One Piece, this adaptation.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was right with Kinjack coming in. Like this felt always to me unadaptable. I never had any inkling or want to see it adapted into live action. It's just so, I mean, it's rubber hose animation mixed with anime. So it's just on its face, like the physics behind it, like you can't really bring that to the real world, especially when the main character has a stretchy power, which even like Marvel can't figure out. Mr. Fantastic. Like that is a tough power to figure out. They did it well here, in my opinion, because they use it sparingly. And when they do, they blow that CGI budget all at once. And it works well. I think the biggest pros of this, it nails the heart of the series, which you guys already hit on. Like it just does feel like the anime. It's goofy, it's wacky, but at the same time, it has like serious messaging. You feel like you're in that world. They nailed that. The castings, A+, especially can you remind me his name again? It's a tough name.
The main actor,
yeah,
Inaki Godoy,
yeah, he's perfect.
I got
perfect
that part
casting.
down.
Yes,
he's very good.
Very hard casting to nail.
Yes, they're all the main cast, the crew members. They're all big One Piece fans coming in, which I think that's also a big difference. Like
I've seen a lot of people say this dude's not original thought. He's definitely overacting, but in the rare exception where overacting is a good thing. Like it's they definitely like take it and then they reach another height with it. Like they stretch it a little further than it probably should go, but for the sake of what they're trying to make, that is probably where you have to go. Like that's where it's like, man, again, I hate using the same two things, but it's the obvious ones. It's Cowboy Bebop, it's Avatar: The Last Airbender, where it's so devoid of any fucking personality or flavor or spice. Like there's just nothing to it. And like there are parts that are just not adaptable in live action. But if you can at least nail and maybe go over the top and over exaggerate in other areas, it can make up for that in an extent. It's like, it's the problem when they try to make it so grounded and so like tried to be like lived in and not this fun vibe and style to it. That's where you start to lose people. Like, I think everyone's favorite character for the most part does seem to be the clown character. What is it? Buggy the clown? Like that seems to be like the internet's kind of going a fucking blaze over that.
Are they?
Another hard one to nail. Very hard one to nail.
And that's the best part of the show in my opinion. Awesome fucking character. The internet, but people seem to love that character, and that's just again where I'm not familiar with this going into it. I'm like, I don't know if this was supposed to be like, but it's pretty fucking awesome. And it has that manga, it has that anime feel to it where you're like, all right, this feels like pretty authentic and cool and unlike anything else we see from this type of genre or this type of adaptation.
Yeah. And it looks fantastic. I mean, the sets, using big sets instead of shooting this all in front of a fucking screen. Just come out and say it looks a million times better than like what Marvel has been pumping out. Like, taking the time to build these sets and making it feel like you are going into a different world just makes such a big difference. It does. It jumps off the screen. We'll talk about that
next when we talk about Ahsoka too. You can do the same thing with Star Wars because I'm rewatching Andor right now, and I'm rewatching because I was like, why haven't I rewatched Andor yet? And Andor is the same thing. It's like you compare this to Obi-Wan when they just did it all in the fucking volume. When they did it all in fake screens. Where you look at Andor, which Andor was just so real and perfect and authentic looking. And you're right, it's the same thing here. It's like it doesn't need to be every set, but like it does. Man, you put shit on the water looking fake. It's tough. It's tough to come back from that. Like if stuff around the water, in the water, and ships and stuff looks fake, it somehow always looks more fake than anything else. Like maybe with the exception of like space. Like bad space is bad, but like bad water scenes and bad things. That's what we talk about the trailer initially. We're like, oh man, this could be fucking bad, but it doesn't have that issue at all.
Yeah, and I think this also points to the fact that we need a lot more pirate content in just like live action, like general media. Like pirates fucking rule.
Watch Black Sails. Watch Black Sails. I've been begging people to watch this forever. It's so good.
I remember it being very horny, episode 1. Like horny to the point where I think I turned it off. Am I wrong?
Wait, you turned off something for being too horny? Yeah, fucking right.
If I'm horny, I'll watch. I got another thing I'll watch.
If you turned it off, that must be like borderline criminal.
No way,
like,
dude.
Yeah, holy shit, dude. You turning it off is an ugly scene.
I like the tension. I don't need full blown.
The shot, by the way, the shot of Buggy the Clown sitting on like with the light from behind him in the ship, that is easily my favorite. I wonder if it's on
the bounties. The way the bounties came in was so fucking cool. I love that little touch they added in where the bounties come in and then like the character will like slap it away, like Mihawk like sliced his. Sweet. Also the snail phones look sick. It kind of reminds me of like OT Star Wars where it comes in and everything is so fantastical and just goofy, but for some reason it fucking works. Like Star Wars came in and did that. No one else, or I guess Star Trek had been doing it a little bit too, but it's just goofy, but it works. Like you just buy in because the world building is there for it. So you're just along for the ride.
We'll toss it up on the screen because I found the screenshot of it. If you haven't seen it, if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe. But it's the shot of him with the light coming from behind him off the water. He's in the chair. It's just like, fuck, man. Like it looks. That's exactly the type of shot that you would want in an adaptation, like of an anime property, because it has the look to it, right? Like it still looks very anime. It looks very drawn. It looks very colorized. Like, but it also looks real. It's that mix that like we've said it. I didn't think was really possible. But the set design, the costumes, every costume design is fucking amazing in this show. Great. I was reading the thing of how many straw hats they have on set. It was like thousands of straw different variations and options.
Fuck, I want one so bad.
Something they did really well, which I also thought was going to be very difficult to do in live action, was that the fights I think were excellent, both from a choreography standpoint and just how they physically looked. Like they have Monkey D. Luffy like fighting like a legitimate monkey. He's almost doing like Brazilian dance fighting or something, and like it just looks really cool and unique versus many of the other fights you're going to see. Sword fights are sick, like, and they make it look good even when it's like it's like Zoro versus like Axan Morgan, which should be the dumbest looking thing ever in live action, and it looks badass as hell. And I think that has looked amazing. And also the transition, like the way that they kind of like encapsulated like these little mini arcs throughout. It's not like it's like an anthology or anything like that, or something, or broken up into like a serial. Like they really managed to, I think, get like a couple separate tiny mini arcs throughout, like little character development, and then when they get Arlong, I thought Arlong was great. It was a McKinley Belker III who played him. Dude, that guy ripped. He was so good as Arlong. What'd you think of him? Because I know you're the number one Arlong fan.
Dude, the fishmen are awesome. Fishmen are cool. They come back. They play a major role in the One Piece world. And yeah, Arlong's kind of your first introduction. He nailed it. That guy was very intimidating, massive. Like the mix of prosthetics with the CGI looked great in my opinion. And then like the Arlong Park, like itself, like built up, like that looked great. Like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like these like sets look fantastic where it just pulls you in. So that way you're able to buy in when they do goofy shit. Like it's so important.
Yeah. Into the map room and everything. That big fight in the pagoda, like, is so sick. And I think that's a great way to like end it too. Like the set off after the Arlong part. Cause like, I remember when I started One Piece, you were telling me like what was going to do, like what parts were coming up or whatever. And you're like, yeah, like Arlong Park's gonna be really cool. Like that fight scene. And like, that's when it really sets off. Like after that is like when you begin like into like the full adventure to the Grand Line, all that stuff. So like that being the set off point for season 2, I think is awesome. And just to close, I guess, on One Piece, I've never been happier to be wrong about something, I think, ever. Is because, like, again, anime live action adaptations about a zero, like, with a worse record, even a worse record than video game adaptations. So to be wrong about this is about as happy as I've been to be wrong about anything ever. So props to One Piece. I love more than anything that I was proven wrong on this, and I'm excited for season 2.
I will say, I think a lot of streamers are going to take the wrong lessons from this, which is
sure.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
But hopefully some of them can take the right ones, which is like respect your source material, understand it. Like, I think that's the key here. That's at the baseline. Like, bring the heart over from the manga or the anime. And
dude, the JJK live action that they're going to try to make it like HBO Max is going to be so bad.
It's going to be. I bet it's going to be Attack on Titan next. That'll be the one.
As AOT with like fucking what's his name? Noah Centineo as Jaeger, as was the main dude, Jaeger. Yeah, it's gonna be awful. God damn. AOT would be bad. JJK could be sick. Theoretically, could be really cool. I don't trust anybody to make it.
No one in the world's hot enough to play Gojo. I'll say it.
That's true. That's a fact.
No one's hot enough.